Good afternoon, everyone. So let's start our session of today. So first of all, thank you for coming and joining this session. This session is about 10 use cases of automated security validation. So we'll have a session and then keep some place for questions. So let's start. Let's start with some numbers. So Pentera was founded in 2015. We have today 410 employees. And we raised also $250 million via Blackstone Inside Partner, K1 Evolution, and Farallon. We have 1,100 customers in more than 61 countries worldwide, every vertical, every industry. So the question that we'll answer today is my business protected against cyber threats? And how can I most effectively reduce my risk exposure? So we all know that the vulnerabilities landscape evolve every year. We have more CVEs to fix, more CVEs to patch. And in the end of the day, the hackers will focus on the exploitable one versus the vulnerable one. So what we did at Pentera is a new way to introduce and to remediate about cybersecurity. So our goal is to focus on what's exploitable. We see that it's more or less 6% versus all the CVEs in the wild. So usually in the traditional world, defenders think with list of CVEs with CVSS scoring. But the bad news is that hackers don't think like that. So they will exploit whatever is exploitable in your attack surface, no matter if it's inside, outside, in the cloud, in order to get to your crown jewels. What I can do to protect myself is to act exactly like the hackers. So we'll try to find the weaknesses and the root cause, and then exploit whatever is exploitable in your context to get also to the crown jewels. In terms of remediation, it will allow you also to fix or to patch the vulnerabilities at the crown jewel versus patching and fixing everywhere. So we all know all the 20,000, 30,000 CV lists to patch. It's not something that humans can do in a daily basis. And this is why we are focusing on what's exploitable versus what's vulnerable. Vulnerable is maybe an IT hygiene problem, but it's not a risk problem. So another challenge is that the attack surface is evolving every day in, day out. We have new cyber threats, new employees, new devices, a lot of cloud, network policy change, and all of those change every day. The level of risk is going up and down, and we need to make sure that the level of risk is at an acceptable risk that we can address and we can live with. So we all do penetration testing once, twice a year, once every 2 years. We see that it's quite empty in the calendar. So we have the yearly snapshot, but what about all the rest? What about the dynamic things that we have in the network? And this is what we are also trying to get. So this is a real customer example of different campaigns running at a different time. We have some different campaigns like a black box exercise, gray box, ransomware emulation, password strength assessment. So we are also validating the Active Directory misconfiguration, weak protocols, weak passwords, external attack surface management. All of those activities help us to reduce the level of risk, to be more secure, more resilient, and in the end of the day make the cybersecurity measurable. What's quite a challenge today in the organizations, to be able to measure cybersecurity and also to predict what will happen tomorrow. We all implemented great security tools, security controls, best of breed of every department and every topic. Goal of Pentera is also to validate that all your security tools, security controls, security policies are really working. For example, we can choose the best EDR in the world. If it's not correctly deployed, correctly installed, and configured, maybe we have some weak spot that hackers can exploit. So our goal is to test your internal attack surface, external attack surface, all your estate, identify what's the true exposure, and then prioritize the remediation based on the level of risk, whatever if it's inside, outside, or in the cloud. Our goal is definitely to act like a real hackers. There is no simulation, no network analysis. If Pentera does something, it means that hackers can do it also tomorrow morning. So let's deep dive a bit technically in what the Pentera platform is doing. So first of all, it's real attacks. It's not based on a simulation or analysis. If Pentera does something, again, a hacker, a pen tester, a red teamer can do it also. It's safe by design, meaning that you want to run on production to understand what's the real risk in your organization. All of our customers run on production because this is the only way that you can recognize that you have a challenge, you have a gap, you have something to validate. When we start the Pentera actions, so we start with a network recon, vulnerability assessment. So we have already a vulnerability scanner tool in the platform. But again, the goal is not to focus on the 20,000 CVs that you have in the network. The goal is to exploit those vulnerabilities or try to exploit those vulnerabilities to remove all the false positive, remove all the noise, and then focus on what's exploitable. Not only that, we'll also validate all the dynamic things that are not covered by traditional vulnerability scanner. So we'll try to sniff credential, crack passwords, do all the relay attack, try to inject some malware or payload on some host, data gathering, lateral movement, pivoting attack. And the goal in the end of the day is to elevate or to try to elevate Pentera privilege, maybe to domain admin. In the end of every test, we have a report generated automatically. Again, we have different type of reports, high-level report, very technical report, and in that way we can address every audience with the Pentera reports. To close the test, we have a cleanup phase to make sure that we are removing all the residue of the attacks, because you don't want to run an action and then keep the door open. So everything is logged in the platform, and then we are doing the cleanup phase to clean all the residue. Let's deep dive about different use case. I'm 5 years at Pentera. I discover new use case every day in speaking with our customers. So today we will address 10 use cases. So first of all, the personal James Bond briefcase. So you can install Pentera in a laptop with a small GPU and then travel to a remote site and test this remote site on an ad hoc phase. A watchdog. So you want to be aware of everything that change in the network, change in the organization, new attack, new CV, so you want to make sure that you are protected against it. And the goal with Pentera is definitely to monitor all your attack surface, inside, outside, and in the cloud, to make sure that you are on top of everything. Security validation standardization. Think about an enterprise with different branch or offices. You want to make sure that you have one standard across all the organization, because the hackers don't come from the headquarters or the remote side, so you never know from where they will come. So you want to make sure also that all your security is aligned everywhere with the same scoring. Today, in using penetration testing, for example, it's very good, but you can have a very good pen test in Europe, maybe lack of resource in other countries, and then the security score is totally different. Security stack backup. So you want also to make sure that the tool that you implemented today are on top of everything. If we have a new technique, so we will validate it against all those security tools. And we have customers also that choose or are doing some POCs on security tools and use Pentera to benchmark the different solutions across the market to make sure that they choose the best solution in their context. Red teamer best friend. So in the end of the day, people are the best resource that we have, but we cannot do everything. So we need automation. So for red teamers, they use Pentera to do some discovery, a lot of things, and then go deeper in some more complex or more creative things. So this is the use case and the best combination between the human brain and the automation. Audit due diligence and M&A. We have a lot of customers that are doing merging and acquisition, and they can test and validate the acquired company with Pentera before they integrate it to the system or before they acquire this company to make sure that they don't invest too much time, too much money on this integration. Audit and due diligence, so we can map also Pentera to some regulation, for example, NIS2, DORA, or other framework. And thanks to Pentera, we have also customers that reduce their cyber insurance policy because they are able to show also improvement during the time. SOC detection and improvement. So our goal is also to improve the SOC alert, SOC detection, to make sure that the SOC have also always new use cases that are ready for all the TTPs, and also in terms of detection, making sure that we don't get any alert fatigue, but we have also the right alert in the right timing. Ransomware resilience. So with Pentera, you can emulate in a click of a button a ransomware like Logbit, Maze, or Revil, and other families to make sure that your organization is protected against those ransomware. So we are running a real ransomware in the organization in a safe way to validate, for example, that your endpoint protection are blocking encryption, exfiltration, and a lot of actions that the real gangs are doing. User credential strength. So we have a test that will audit your Active Directory, not just based on misconfiguration, but also, for example, if you have an admin user that uses the same password in his local user and domain user, and also what's the weak password that I have in my organization. I want to also to be able to reset them or to ask the user to change his password to something more complex. So vulnerability prioritization, we all know the pain and the challenge of prioritizing CVEs and vulnerabilities. So Pentera will exploit those vulnerabilities in removing all the noise, removing all the false positive to make sure that we are focusing and we are more efficient in the remediation on the right items. So this is the Pentera platform. It's based on 3 products. Pentera Core is all the internal infrastructure. Pentera Cloud based on AWS and Azure. And Pentera Surface, it's the outside-in attack. So it's not a typical EASM platform. The goal here is to exploit some SQLi, cross-scripting, and go deeper than just having a discovery of my external attack surface. Ransomware ready, so again, the goal is to emulate a ransomware like Logbit, Maze, or Revil, Clop, to make sure that I'm protected against the last threat and the ransomware. Credential exposure. So it's a leaked credential module that we looked at after all your leaked credential over the darknet, deep web, social. The goal here, again, is the validation. So we will take those information and validate them against your internal attack surface and external attack surface. And then the security validation advisory. So we don't just resell a license. We have also some advisor and some services based on the customer success and the solution architect that will help you to deploy Pentera based on your architecture, and then doing some monthly review to make sure that you are improving continuously. And also, if you have some new use cases to address, that you are addressing the right use cases based on your industry. So, in terms of customers' value, we have first of all the risk reduction. So I think that we all fight for having this reduce my level of risk, able also to measure this level of risk at any time, and also improve and show improvement to the management. Increase employee productivity. So with the same team, you can do more and be more efficient. So this is also our goal. Security services cost reduction. So think about a penetration testing. So it's not just the cost of the pen test. You have a preparation work to do. And then you have also some meetings to understand what the reports are and also the remediation to do. SOC improvement, detection and prevention. So it can be the SOC, but it can be also all the security tools. In the end of the day, you want to validate your investment on the security tools and security stack that you've implemented. And Pentera is the best way also to prove that if you choose a solution, it really works and it's blocked attacks. So it's an ongoing approach, meaning that the goal is to configure, run, remediate, and repeat. So our goal is to run as much as you can to make sure that you are on top of everything during all the year, all the contract term, and then it will help you also to reduce the level of risk. The platform is very simple to implement. There is no agent. It's a plug-and-play platform. You connect Pentera to the network, you run the test, and then you can repeat them. Great, thank you. So if anyone have any question, I'm here. William is here, so we can answer all your questions.